Have you ever met someone and thought, ew, they are so annoying, but later you actually like them? That's exactly what happens in Pride and Prejudice. At first, Elizabeth and Darcy don't get along at all. They judge each other too quickly and get it completely wrong. But this story isn't just about that. It's about how social class, pride, and unfair rules for women shaped relationships back then and even today. Plus, understanding this book will boost your English skills and help you understand other novels too. Let's see how. Hello lovely learners and welcome back to L&T. Today we're exploring Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Using the L&T method, we'll guide you step by step through the novel's essential elements, making it accessible and engaging. Hello lovely learners and welcome back to L&T. Today we're exploring Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Using the L&T method, we'll guide you step by step through the novel's essential elements, making it accessible and engaging. By the end of this video lesson, you'll be able to discuss this novel with confidence. We'll explore key literary elements including title and publication, genre, structure, plot, setting in time and setting in place, and narrative techniques. Are you ready? Let's begin. The novel's title, Pride and Prejudice, encapsulates its central themes. Austen originally titled it First Impressions, reflecting the character's initial judgments, like Elizabeth's dislike of Darcy's arrogance and Darcy's dismissal of Elizabeth's beauty. However, the final title focuses on the protagonist's deeper flaws, pride for Darcy and prejudice for Elizabeth. This change underscores the novel's critique of societal values. Throughout this lesson, you'll hear useful expressions. These expressions will highlight key phrases that will help you improve your English. When you hear them, try to repeat the phrase out loud. This will help you remember important vocabulary and improve your pronunciation. Listen to the following useful prompts, then it's your turn.
The work is entitled Pride and Prejudice. The title signifies the central themes of Pride and Prejudice. Originally, the title of the book was First Impressions.
Published anonymously in 1813, Pride and Prejudice reflects the challenges faced by female authors in Austen's era. Societal norms discouraged women from writing, so Austen credited the work only to a lady. Her identity was revealed after she died by her brother Henry Austen, securing her legacy as a literary pioneer. Now, regarding its publication, listen carefully and then repeat.
This work was released in 1813. It was made available to the public anonymously. It saw publication in 3 volumes.
Pride and Prejudice is a novel of manners that examines the social customs, values, and economic pressures of England's landed gentry. Austen satirizes societal obsessions such as marriage for financial security through the description of formal gatherings and familial conflicts. Simultaneously, the novel functions as a romantic comedy, tracing Elizabeth and Darcy's transformative journey from disdain to respect.
This work falls under the genre of the novel of manners. It can be classified as a romantic comedy.
Jane Austen uses 2 different genres, novel of manners and romantic comedy, to explore the social customs, values, and economic pressures of the time.
The novel is divided into 3 volumes, mirroring 19th century publishing conventions. Volume 1 introduces the Bennet family's financial insecurity and establishes Elizabeth and Darcy as adversaries. In Volume 2, tension escalates through Lydia's elopement with Mr. Wickham and the revelation in Darcy's letter which challenges Elizabeth's prejudices. The third volume resolves conflicts thanks to Darcy's intervention, leading to Lydia's marriage, Jane's reunion with Bingley, and Lizzie's acceptance of Darcy's proposal.
Jane Austen's novel, organized in a chronological manner, is split into 3 parts or volumes, a common structure in her time. Thanks to a 3-volume structure, Austen critiques unfair rules, teaching lessons about pride, prejudice, and love. The story progresses from problems, through drama, to resolution.
Imagine a big family, the Bennets, with 5 daughters. They live in England in the 19th century. The Bennet family's house and land will go to a distant male cousin when Mr. Bennet, the father, dies. The only way out is marriage. Elizabeth is one of the daughters. She is smart and doesn't always follow the rules of society. She meets a rich man, Mr. Darcy, and at first they don't like each other. Mr. Darcy seems proud and arrogant. He thinks he's better than everyone. However, he also has good morals and is honest. Lydia, one of Elizabeth's sisters, runs away with a soldier. This is a scandal that could ruin the family's reputation. Secretly, Mr. Darcy helps the Bennet family fix Lydia's problem. He does this because he cares about Elizabeth, even though they argue. Elizabeth and Darcy start to understand each other better. They both learn and grow. In the end, Elizabeth and Darcy realize they love each other and get married.
The narrative centers on the Bennet family and their daughters. It traces the life of Elizabeth Bennet, the protagonist. The central events revolve around love, marriage, and social class.
The story takes place in England in the early 19th century. Back then, society had strict rules. Women couldn't inherit money or land. This meant many women had to marry to survive. The author, Jane Austen, shows us how unfair that was. Let's sum up with some useful expressions.
The narrative is set in the early 19th century. It unfolds during a period of social change and strict class distinctions. The events are set in rural England.
Some places in the novel, like the Bennet's house, Longbourn, and Mr. Bingley's rented house, Netherfield, show that things can change. Longbourn might be taken away from the Bennets, and Bingley's house is just rented, not his own. We'll call them temporary homes. These places represent a lack of stability. Other places, like Mr. Darcy's house, Pemberley, and Lady Catherine's house, Rosings, show wealth that stays in the family. These places represent wealth and power that has been in a family for a long time. They are symbols of tradition. Pemberley is a perfect example. It shows Darcy's long-established wealth and his family's history. Here's another example. Rosings, Lady Catherine's estate, shows her long-held high social standing and her rigid adherence to tradition. Owning a large permanent estate showed a person's high social status. When speaking of the setting in place, think of temporary homes as places where things can change quickly. Think of permanent homes as places that are strong and unchanging. By using these symbols, Jane Austen shows us the different levels of society and how people's lives were affected by their social status and wealth. To wrap up this literary element, let's review the key points. Listen and then try repeating.
The narrative is set in various locations in the east of England, including Hertfordshire. It is located in a place characterized by country estates. The setting reflects the social hierarchy.
Austen uses a technique called free indirect speech. It blends a third-person narration with characters' inner thoughts. This allows the readers to experience their emotions directly without the narrator explicitly saying them. Here we don't read Elizabeth thought or she realized. Instead, her thoughts naturally merged into the narration. Austen also uses irony, exposing hypocrisy, like Mr. Collins' over-the-top flattery that hides his selfish motives. Meanwhile, dialogues such as those between Elizabeth and Lady Catherine reveal class tensions. Let's explore the narrative techniques again together. Say these expressions aloud.
The author utilizes narrative techniques such as free indirect speech, irony, and dialogue. Austen employs methods such as free indirect speech to critique society. The narrative is constructed through dialogue and psychological realism.
And that concludes our exploration of Pride and Prejudice. To deepen your understanding, visit Literature No Trouble for themes, character analysis, and more. Keep learning, and remember, with the L&T method, every classic becomes a step-by-step journey to mastery. Thank you for joining us. L&T, where literature meets clarity. Stay lit.